What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the NFL Hub. Today we're going to be doing something pretty interesting, continuing our top 10 players list. Today we'll be going over the top 10 NFL wide receivers in history. Dozens of wide receivers have realistic arguments for the top 10 places. The fact that their production comes in different eras of the league only complicates the discussion, but picking out the 10 most worthy players is a challenging yet enjoyable task. This list is based on individual production and achievements, but longevity and era-adjusted contributions are also factored into the order, and AFL players were also considered. I'd like to go off and start on a couple of honorable mentions, one being Tim Brown. Brown eased into greatness after managing an unspectacular 2,245 yards in his first 5 seasons. The Raiders star exploded for 9 straight 1,000-yard outputs and narrowly missed a 10th consecutive year. He posted 14,935 yards and 100 touchdowns during a 17 career. The next honorable mention I'd like to put in is James Lofton. Lofton was a consistent force for the Green Bay Packers, averaging no fewer than 50 yards per game in 9 seasons. He also played on 4 other teams, most notably the Raiders and Buffalo Bills, en route to a then record 14,004 career yards. Let's go ahead and start this list with number 10. Number 10, I'd like to give the spot to Calvin Johnson. When talking about the most talented receivers in history, Calvin Johnson is undoubtedly a top 5 selection. However, Megatron only played 9 seasons for the Detroit Lions, 2007 to 2015, but he was sure special. Johnson twice led the NFL in receiving yards, highlighted by a record-breaking 1,964-yard campaign in 2012. That season encapsulates why he followed the trend of previous Lions legend Barry Sanders and retired early, though. Detroit mustered a 4-12 record. Despite the frustration of not playing for a contender, Johnson amassed 731 receptions for 11,619 yards and 83 touchdowns. Let's move on to number 9. At number 9, we have Lance Alworth. Lance Alworth helped usher in a new brand of football and ended his career as one of the most prolific receivers in history. Behind only Don Maynard, Alworth ranked second in receiving yards when he hung up the cleats. The longtime San Diego Chargers standout posted 542 catches for 10,266 yards and 85 touchdowns, boasting 7 1,000-yard seasons. The UPI AFL Player of the Year 1963, Alworth landed on 6 first-team All-Pro lists and 7 Pro Bowl squads. He entered the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a member of the 1978 class. At number 8, we have Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison had a remarkable connection with Peyton Manning, resulting in an all-time record of 114 touchdowns between the duo. I think many records will be broken. Most of my records will be broken, Manning said in 2016. I don't believe that record that me and Marvin had of throwing the most touchdowns together will ever be broken, said Peyton Manning. A product of Syracuse, Harrison ended his 13-year career with 128 scores. Additionally, the Hall of Famer's 1,102 receptions ranked second in NFL history at the time of his retirement. Marvin Harrison was also the former owner of the single-season reception record broke just this year by Michael Thomas. Harrison was a Pro Bowl mainstay from 1999 to 2006, earning 3 first-team All-Pro mentions during that span. At number 7, we have Larry Legend, a.k.a. Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald, the 2016 Walter Payton Man of the Year, has shaped a legacy that extends beyond the field. Between the white lines, though, he's earned the nickname Larry Legend for a reason. The number 3 overall pick of the 2004 draft spent his entire career with one team, the Arizona Cardinals. With them, he set franchise records across the board while climbing the NFL's all-time lists. Entering 2018, he had 1,234 catches for 15,545 yards and 110 scores. Barring injury, Fitzgerald will end his career as history's number 2 player in receiving yards with top 10 marks in receptions and touchdowns. Within a decade of retirement, he will for sure enter the Hall of Fame. At number 6, we have Cris Carter. Famous for making extremely difficult grabs on the sideline, Cris Carter turned in a sensational 16-year career. Off-field issues led to his surprising exit from the Philadelphia Eagles after only 3 seasons, but Carter has acknowledged the release helped him turn around his life. He landed with the Minnesota Vikings and caught more than 1,000 passes for the franchise. Carter spent 12 years in Minnesota, racked up 12,383 of his 13,899 career yards as a member of the team. An 8-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro, Carter joined the Hall of Fame in 2013. At number 5, we have Steve Largent. All-time records had moved a little higher once Seahawks legend Steve Largent decided to retire. In 1976, the Houston Oilers used a 4th-round pick on the Tulsa wideout before trading him to Seattle in the preseason. He quickly became a featured piece of the offense and notched 8 straight 1,000-yard years, excluding the strike-shortened 1982 season. Largent twice led the NFL in receiving. Talk about a big mistake by the Houston Oilers. His career totals of 819 catches, 13,089 yards, and 100 touchdowns stood atop the NFL's record books. The 1988 Walter Payton Man of the Year appeared on 7 Pro Bowl teams. At number 4, we have Terrell Owens. Despite the controversy, or perhaps hurt feelings that accompanied Terrell Owens' induction into the Hall of Fame in 2018, his on-field performance demanded a place in Canton. While T.O. spent a majority of his career with the 49ers, he put together successful years with the Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, Bills, and Cincinnati Bengals too. Owens registered 9 seasons of 1,000-plus yards and 8 with 10-plus touchdowns. Overall, he racked up 1,078 receptions, 15,934 yards, and 153 touchdowns, and the latter two totals are top 3 marks in NFL history. Owens gathered 6 Pro Bowl nods and 5 All-Pro honors. At number 3, we have, of course, Randy Moss. Randy Moss is the most physically gifted receiver in the history of the game, said former NFL head coach Brian Billick per NFL.com. We have never, nor will we ever, see another wide receiver with the speed, leaping ability, hands, and burst of Randy Moss. Don't forget the size, either. How's that for a recommendation? Moss is the only receiver other than Jerry Rice to notch 10 seasons of 1,000-plus yards, one of which happened during an Offensive Rookie of the Year effort in 1998. 6 occurred in Minnesota, followed by 1 with Oakland and 3 for the Patriots. Though Moss has since dropped out of the all-time top 10 in receptions, the 6-time Pro Bowler and 4-time All-Pro ranks 2nd in touchdowns, 156, and 4th in receiving yards, 15,292. Imagine if he was top 10 in receptions. At number 2, we have Don Hudson. Don Hudson was the NFL's first elite receiver. He's the only player who suited up before 1945 to record 3,500 yards in his career. And the Alabama Antelope more than doubled that mark. Hudson wrapped up 11 years in Green Bay at then records of 488 receptions, 7,991 yards, and 99 touchdowns. The MVP of 1941 and 1942 seasons, he paced the league in several categories multiple times, including in receiving yards 7, receptions 8, and touchdowns 9. During his career, Hudson won 3 championships with the Packers and earned a spot on All-Pro teams 8 times. At number 1, we have the greatest wide receiver of all time with no debate, Jerry Rice. There is simply no debate. Jerry Rice obliterated all of the previous receiving records, bringing in 1,549 catches for 22,895 yards and 197 touchdowns. Still, even when breaking a mark was inevitable, he still felt pressure. I was really happy to get it done, Rice told Baltimore Sun after earning the touchdowns record in 1994. When I caught that last ball, so much pressure just left my body. In addition to several other NFL bests, the Hall of Famer won 3 Super Bowls, 2 Offensive Player of the Year honors, and appeared in 13 Pro Bowls and made 10 first-team All-Pro lists. There is simply no other wide receiver in NFL history as decorated or as physically gifted as Jerry Rice. The pure talent and execution of that talent will probably forever be unmatched unless somebody like Michael Thomas just straight out explodes. But until then, the number 1 will be Jerry Rice, and I can see it being that way for a while. Thank you guys so much for watching another video here at the NFL Hub. If you have any suggestions, make sure to leave them down below. Do you agree with the list? Do you agree that Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver of all time? It's kind of hard to argue, but I mean, everybody has their own opinion. Go ahead and leave your comments down below, leave suggestions, leave a like, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.